safe early, while Lee Sin is a very aggressive. I don't imagine it would go Feral Flare juggler, where he's trying to make plays early. So that could, if your team feeds really hard early, then no matter how strong you are on Yi, it can be really hard to win the game. So if Yi is able to outpressure Yi early, then it could be bad for them. So what I would say is that as soon as you get in the game, tell your lanes to play safe, let you farm up and be huge, and not give you Lee free ganks. Bot lane is Leona MF versus Jinx Karma. I talked about this lane earlier. Leona MF is really good at all ins because MF has pretty solid burst and Leona can lock someone down. But Karma brings insane poke into bot lane. So if they get poked down, they won't be able to do the all-in engage. And they'll kind of just be hugging the tower and trying to farm where they can. So they got to be really careful not to get poked down, make it to level 3, and probably could try all-inning at that point. There's not a lot of mobility in bot lane for either team. No dashes or anything like that. There's a few speed buffs. But they just got to play safe down there. Not get ganked by Lee, not get 3v2'd. Shyvana top versus Zac. Zac's not something you see a lot anymore. He's still pretty strong. I think he's about equally strong in top and jungle, which is slightly under. He's not good in this meta, pretty much, basically. And Shyvana's going to scale to be a huge dragon. So is Zac. He's going to be a huge blob. Both causing a lot of problems in fights. Just good disruption, just a meat shield that people have to hit to get to the squishies. So I think they're probably going to be providing about the same role. And I think TP on Shyvana is good here. You're probably not going to be able to kill Zac, and Zac probably won't be able to kill you. So late game and even in like early dragon fights, the TP is going to give you more pressure on the map. So that's good. I think that's a good summoner spell choice. Lux with no flash against Lee Sin and Brand I think is awful. She didn't even take heal. She took barrier instead. So I think maybe Lux is going to hard feed here. We'll see what happens. Brand versus Lux is pretty good for Lux. She's got a little bit more range than Brand. So she can farm safely and poke him down and then all in him with the Q into an E ult auto combo. So we'll see what happens there. But if I were Lee Sin, I would be like, Lux no escape. I'll see you in mid lane at level 3. Heal would have been a lot better because at least it gives you like that ghost movement speed than barrier here. Fizz is one of those champions you could take like barrier ignite. I mean, in this meta you'd take heal ignite with how good it is, but without having an escape at all, you don't want to take no flasher, heal, or ghost. I mean, if you skimp out on those, you're just so vulnerable. If you ever get caught, you die. Like it's that simple, and you don't want to do that. I didn't even notice MF has ignite. It's not ignite's not that bad if your support has heal, because heal is the same whether you or your support have it. So it's kind of like she has heal, but I think she probably would have been better with maybe exhaust here. I don't know. We'll see if they can get the all in, then the ignite will be worth it. If they don't, then it's not. So ignite's really pretty solid versus Zac because he picks up all his blobs. Like in team fights, when he's ulting around, if he hits people, he just gets tons of blobs. So it'll be good for later parts of the game, even if it doesn't get a kill early. I think TP is the way to go on him, though. Flash is great, obviously, because it's Flash, but he's got a move speed, unslowable ability, so he doesn't need Flash as much, and the teleport lets you just hard farm jungle, get your flare stacks, and then teleport in when your team needs you. But against Lee, I could see not taking it, because if he invades you and you don't have a Flash pre-6, you're probably going to die, so it's arguable either way on the summoner spell choice there. Let me turn off the music. I mean, yeah, it could go either way. If Leona takes Ignite, chances are she's going to be lower level than MF, so the Ignite won't do as much damage. But in this case, Leona takes Heal, so the heal won't do as much healing, and it's kind of that kind of trade-off typically. I mean, early lane it won't matter, but later in the game, that's the trade-off that you're opting into if you think about it. That's assuming the ADC and support are together. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Karma took exhaust, which is good against G, really good against G. So that's a good pickup on summoner spells. And Jinx has heal because, like I said, it's the best. It's basically 2 summoner spells in one. It's barrier and ghost, and it's AOE, or 2 targets. All right, so we're watching Yi this game. He's got the nice Jedi skin. That's always good. Skins win you games. It looks like he only bought 3 potions, so he's saving a little bit of gold. I don't know about that. I never really done that. We'll see what he ends up doing with that. I usually try and get as many potions as I can, because if you can, I mean, this would be like the most optimal situation that Lee doesn't get any kills elsewhere. Is you just hard farm your jungle with blue buff, meditate, and get Wriggles in your first back, and then you can start getting extra gold from camps and scale into the late game Yi earlier. And if you have 3 potions, I really doubt that's possible that you can do that. But we'll see what he does. Another thing to note, they don't know this, but looks like to me that Lee is going to start red, which means if Yi starts blue, they're both going to end up on the same side of the map. So you got to be really careful of counter ganks in those situations. And if you are going to gank, drop your trinket ward on the path that the enemy jungler would take to get there. And Lux, no summoners. Okay, I thought she was on the other side. Okay, good. But yeah, you can. This was in my other video, but you can watch which way the laners come to lane, and that will give you a hint on where the other jungler started and if there's a fear of counter ganks or not. So I imagine Brand, instead of walking through the midway, oh, it looks like he might. Okay, so Brand is doing the smart thing here. You can see he's walking through mid, so that way that they can't tell where the jungler started. But top lane's coming extremely late, so that does give the tell. So basically, at this point, you're like, okay, well, he's still not there at 220. He at least started red. That's a pretty safe assumption. So you can kill either Wolves or Wraiths when you're jungling early before red to get the level 3 at red. Doesn't really matter. Yi's probably better off doing... Wait, does it hit 4 targets? Yeah, it hits 4 targets. So Yi's probably better off doing Wraiths because he hits 4 targets with his Q, so he can hit all those little Wraiths. They give a slightly less XP, but it's easier. And when I jungle, I don't let my health get that low. Meditate does heal you the lower you are, so that's probably a good play there. Save the health potion. It makes him vulnerable to a Lee Sin invade, but since Lee Sin started top, you feel a little bit safer in that aspect. Instead of dropping your ward here, you can just hug this wall and ward like right here, and it'll put it over there, and that's a much better spot. Because there's no way that Lee's gonna make it through this ward and get in here. Like, he's only gonna come from here, and if he shows here, like, he could throw a Q from here and you wouldn't even know. So just a better ward there. So Lee hasn't even taken his blue yet. He's just gonna hard farm the jungle, it looks like. So he actually might go for the flare. So this is good for Yi because he outscales Lee. God, that's really confusing. I'm gonna be mixing those up all game probably. Yeah, so there's gonna be no really early pressure from Lee. He might gank after completely clearing his jungle, but I don't expect it. I mean, we'll see. Oh no, he's already backing, which is surprising. He's really low. He has health potions though, so I don't know exactly why he's backing. It's not like he got invaded or anything like that. We'll see. I guess he's just trying to get the early AD, which isn't that bad, but you definitely want to try and stay until you can get your Wriggles. But I don't think he's going Wriggles now. I think he may be going just straight for the... Or not Wriggles, I mean blood Blood Razor, Madred's Blood Razor, because Blood Razor is 450 if you start Machete. But since he got the Longsword instead of the Madred's, that tells me that he's going to go Ancient. I mean, sorry, Lizard Elder. So he's probably not going to hard farm the jungle. He's probably going to clear it now and try and gank. So his mid laner dies, and their mid laner back, so it's a good idea to push the wave. He's going to deny Brand some XP and CS, and Lee Sin's not there to pick it up. So that was a really good move. Come out of the jungle for a second, get a free wave of XP and gold, and deny their enemy mid laner some to keep him not quite as far ahead. So we saw that Lux was the first blood, most likely because she didn't have flash. She used her barrier, but if she would have had flash heal, there's just no way she would have died. I didn't see it at all, but there's just no way. And you don't want to have a Brand snowball because his ultimate is extremely good in team fights and will cause problems if he's fed. He rushed Sword Shoes, so he's already got Lux below half. I don't even want to look at mid. Even though this is only jungle farming, I know what's going to happen. She has no barrier now. She's just so squishy. If he lands a stun... Oh, he's already out of mana, to be fair. Brand. He did level up, though. Got his ultimate. Yeah, so this is when you gank right here. No matter how hard of a farmer you are, he's got no mana. He's pushed beyond half. You could get counter ganked. That's the only thing you need to worry about. But what he doesn't know is that Lee's level 3. He's getting a vamp. I don't know if he's rushing a Hydra, it looks like, but either way, I really don't like the item choices here on Lee Sin. Lux is doing a pretty good job in mid now. I guess I should be watching the lanes, because that's how you decide if you gank or not. But you can see Shyvana's shoving top here constantly. So you kind of want to be here for a counter gank, because there's a chance you could get ganked, but she does have Dragon Form and Flash. So you don't have to sit there and be ready for a counter gank on Shyvana, because she is pretty safe on her own. But you could put a 3-minute ward here, and that way you could better prepare for a counter gank. I mean, it'd be best if she could, but if she's not warding, you can do it yourself. So he's clearing his jungle again. Nothing too special going on there. He made the right play, and so apparently Meditate is fine with 3 potions. It lets you get your wriggles sooner, so that was a good play. And Shyvana barely lives, and he's going to be there to cover it. He's getting a lot of farm, and no one has died except for the Lux fail. So that's pretty good for him. This is the Yi early game that you like to see. He's up over 20 CS on Lee Sin. And he's not going to be able to get a kill here, so he's just trying to scare him off the wave. It's good. Just make sure to push the entire wave here, so that the wave doesn't get frozen near his tower and denies Shyvana any CS. Lux is just getting dumpstered. It's really hard to deal with. It's really hard to jungle when your lanes are feeding, but luckily it's only Lux who's feeding at this point. Bot lane's getting out CS, but right now you can't gank this lane because it's pushed past halfway. They have no wards, but just tell your bot lane to let them push, and since they have no real mobility, it should be a fairly easy gank. They do have the exhaust and heal though, so you got to be conscious of that. Try and just ask your MF to poke her down with the double up, and if Jinx ever gets like 60% health, then that's your sign to go in, especially if you have red buff. You with red buff is very scary. He chases extremely well. 3-man gank on Shyvana without an ultimate. And no, oh, she still has flash. She might be able to escape this. Yeah, she gets out a 3-man gank. Lux should be shoving to tower right now. And now that their jungler's top, there's no fear of a counter gank. So this is a good time. They're overextended. Unfortunately, Yi's pretty low, so I would have already popped a health potion and been healed up, meditated, and then ganked. With Leona at 6, this could have been a gank right here. This could have been Yi going in. If she lives, it's because Yi didn't gank. Yeah, so that could have been a free kill, maybe a free double for Yi. He has flash, he has ult, and that was one of those situations where you're farming doubles instead of ganking. But he's coming around now for the tower dive. It's risky, but we'll see what happens here. He's probably going to die for it at least. So a 1-for-1 giving their support double buffs when you could have gotten that kill without actually losing anything there. Uh, so it was a good play, I think, but not optimal at all. Brand is roaming everywhere. That's why he rushed the Sorcerer Shoes. If you see a mid laner rush second tier boots like that, they're probably going to be roaming, so you got to be careful of the roam. It's not just the enemy jungler, but typically a lot of mid laners and lower elos just sit in lane and farm all game. So they're doing an early dragon because he had died. So had he just picked up the kill on Jinx before, like when everyone was still top, because remember there was 3 top when he had gone for that dive pretty much. So they could have picked up the dragon instead. So his dive there was a 1-for-1, but they got the dragon, when instead he could have gotten 1 kill, maybe 2 in bottom and the dragon. So you can see the suboptimal plays there and how it hurts you pretty quickly. But they're tied on gold. It's not the end of the world. It was just a bit of misplay. Going for the gank on to Zac. Pretty easy kill under tower. He had no passive up. The counter gank could have come in. So before that gank ward here, he didn't ward. He is just running for his life at this point. You want to ward for the counter gank. Oh, I think he's lagging. I don't know. He's probably dead. Yeah, he's gotta be. Yeah. What? Zac? I mean, Brand ulted, but he got out of vision, I guess, so it didn't count. He's making quite a little run for his life here. He'll be able to die to tower. Definitely just died to tower here. Alright, wasted a lot of their time. Shyvana probably shoved away the tower during that time. But basically, ward here before you do a gank, a tower dive like that. If Lee comes from either direction, you'll be able to see him. If he comes from here, you can't, but I mean, you gotta live with that. But if he comes from here, you can see him immediately and get out before anything goes bad. But luckily for Yi, Lee was not there for the counter gank, so it worked out. Shyvana's got dragon form, no flash. She should be okay if she just dragon forms. Yeah. I don't know why Lee sent E there. I think he meant to hit Q, but he's also really extremely far behind E right now. 3 levels. He's not farming jungle optimally. He's not ganking. He's really misplaying Lee Sin. So that's gonna let Yi really abuse Yi's late game. He's got 19 stacks at 13 minutes. That's a solid number to be shooting for. So Brand's pushed the tower. He doesn't have flash, I believe. He might have used it in the jungle chase against Yi. If he did, Yi would know that. But a really good ward here spots it out. So if you go in ganking like that and the mid laner runs, you can assume they have a ward about when they started running, maybe a little sooner, maybe a little before that. So you can be like, ping here, there's a ward probably, or maybe over here. Lee saw him come over the ward, so he's trying to get in position for a counter gank. Good play by Lee here. If he gets stunned, he could be in a lot of trouble. Oh, nice kick. But unless this gets really good RNG bounces, yeah, he should be able to clean this up no problem. So that just goes back to him being a bunch of levels ahead. And he was able to pick up a free double. He got the Q onto Lee Sin before he flashed, and then after he flashed, he was just on top of him. I believe that's what happened. And he was able to clean it up, and he gets, I think, a mini reset on his Q when you get a kill. So he was able. I mean, I don't even think he Q'd Brand. I think he just autoed him to death because Brand had blown everything to kill Lux, and Lux isn't worth any gold. So that was a great trade. He got a kill on a 3-in-1 Brand because he had killed Lux before, or 3-0 Brand. So that was worth a lot of gold. Stopping Jinx's back here, wasting a heal. That's pretty good. She didn't need that. There was no follow up, but She used it, so that's good for Leona. Well played. And he's getting his stacks up now. That's a Feral Flare at under 15 minutes. That's all you want on Yi right now. He's going to be terrifying. He's got 89 farm to 32, and it looks like a Bloodthirster rush on Yi, which is just awful in the jungle. This Brand is just insane. He's roaming 24/7. I don't even know what this is about. Like, what's that roam gonna do for you? There's no blue at 15 minutes. It would spawn at like 12. Either way. So your bot lane went back. There's nothing there. This is a risky play because you know their mid laners are mid. And Yi had kick. You could have easily just kicked him away there. Didn't use it at all. But a good play. They need to separate immediately. Okay, so Brand ulted, and it bounces to the nearest ally. So if they would have separated, they wouldn't have taken damage, or they would have only taken like 1 or 2 shots of it. They didn't separate, so they're lucky it didn't kill them. But if they were a little lower, Brand would have picked up a double kill. But right now, Yi is just continuing to snowball out of control. Lee Sin misplay, like he's so weak right now. Didn't kick back. He was just freaking out, panicking, and that let Yi just chase him down, kill him, and then Brand tried to be the hero and ended up getting dumpstered by the two of them. So having a Yi with 5 kills this early with almost 100 CS at 16 minutes, this is like the best Yi game you could ask for right now. And now it just comes up to team fighting and not getting CC'd. If he can come in to clean up and not get CC'd, then he's going to be in a great position here. His ulti's going to be up really soon, 5 seconds. He's pretty healthy, so I think this is a safe move here, but I don't think, without Leona following up immediately, there's no way he's going to be able to chase it. Like, he could chase it, but he would probably just get killed. And I think he lagged right there. He's going to live. Leona goes in. I don't think she needed to do that, but she tried to be the hero. Alright, so he tried to make a play there with his ultimate, but I think he would have at that point, just accept death. Don't waste your ultimate. It's pretty low cooldown, 60, so by the time he's up there, it'll be like a 40-second cooldown. But they might lose another dragon here. If Lee Sin was on point, this would be a dragon gone. Actually, it might be. If Lux dies... yeah, she's dead. And they stayed together, so it got a lot of free bounces there. And they might all die here. Yeah, so this should be a free dragon, easily. I would instantly, if I was Lee Sin, I don't know what he's doing. Anyway, there was no real reason to go and get caught here as Yi. Dragon, I mean, blue buff would have spawned like a minute after he died right here. So he might have been going to just ward it. And Brand has been doing a lot of roaming, so that's something to think about, like, if you're trying to do invade wards like that. Brand's been there that whole time, or like around everywhere the whole time. So if you're just roaming in for wards and things like that, invading for wards, then you can get caught out if their mid laners there like that. So I mean, it was just unfortunate that he was there, honestly, but he stood there. I think he lagged and was able to get hit by the whole Brand combo, which chunked him down. And he should have popped ult earlier to run. He didn't use it until it was too late. As soon as you get behind like that, or like low health like that against a Brand and a team following up, you just pop ult and run. He could have lived, but the enemy didn't take the dragon there, so they just lost a bunch of kills. They're still ahead in gold, and they're still in a good spot. Just a bit of a misplay. Yi has his trinket ward up. Definitely ward here if you're running right past it. They would have seen Brand, and they could have turned with Leona, but instead, they're kind of getting split here. But it doesn't really matter because the enemy ADC never came up, and Brand is all on his own now. So they picked up the dragon and 2 kills. That worked out really well for them, but once again, could have put a ward here. They were fine either way. They had the man advantage. Lee Sin really has done nothing for his team this game, which is letting Yi just run rampant. So not all your Yi games are going to be this easy, but this is a nice free low game, as I would say. Shyvana doing a little red invade. This is really dangerous, but she has her flash and ulti, so she'll get away. But if Lee Sin had any control of his jungle or any map awareness at all, that might have been stopped. but he's continuing to stack up his Feral Flare, which is what you want to do. So basically, once you get the 25 stacks on your Wriggles and it turns into a Flare, that's when it starts working on champions. But it's still really weak. Each stack gives it one extra health per hit, and I think maybe like two damage, which is reduced by 33% against champions. So once you stack it to a Feral Flare, that's kind of just the beginning if you think about it, because it indefinitely scales. So having 12 stacks gives him 12 extra health on hit. So just continue to stack it, continue to grow, and only group when you absolutely need to. Really good Leona ult is perfect. Is a perfect situation for Yi. He can easily follow up on that, and his ult extends when he gets kills and assists. So even though he stepped on a Jinx trap, which he probably should have avoided, he's able to just speed into their team, no matter what. Like, his ult's still up for another 5 seconds. So they have minion wave. Take this tower. This would be a free tower. I think it's still going to be free even though he's not there. He might just... Okay, so if you think your team can handle a tower after getting a bunch of kills, it's fine to just leave it and go take another objective. Sometimes it'll bite you in the ass, but in this situation, that was the right call. If Lux dies, it's because she has no flash. She's got the barrier and the ignite. That it worked out. They need to back up though. They got the objective. They got the kill. This is when you run. Lee Sin doing nothing once again, saving his enemy. And so that all worked out. Oh, never mind. Jinx got the ulti snipe, which is good. But yeah, he definitely made the right play here. He's like, oh, my team's going to be able to take the tower. I'll just go take another objective. And you can kill towers so fast that that's one of the options you have. Not every jungler could have pulled that off, but a fed Yi is definitely going to be able to do that. And now he's just going to continue to clear his jungle and get those stacks. 17 at 21 minutes is insanely high. 153 farm is, I mean, that is just, this is the best Yi game you could ever have right now. Blade of the Rune King, definitely a solid pickup. It keeps your enemy slowed and speeds you up so that you can get in range easier and become an even faster Yi, which is always scary. And I'm curious to see what he gets next. It looks like it might be a Ghost Blade. We'll see. But Static Shiv is also really good on Yi. Infinity Edge is one of the best items on him as well. If you get Static Shiv and Infinity Edge, you are just going to be so scary if you get onto people. Alright, so that fight basically was baited by Lux. And Leona popped her ulti on only one person, and I'm not even sure if it stunned him. But at that point, like, you don't want to fight that. Even if your Leona wastes ult, it's sunken cost. It's the concept of sunken cost. Even though she used her ulti, you don't have to all die for it. Just know that your team's misplaying and know that that's not the right decision to make and back up. Even if it means, you know, Leona wasting her ult. Sometimes it happens. People make misplays, and you just gotta accept it and not give them even more for free. You didn't need to die there. And then MF was also in a dangerous spot, so she came up, walked up to the tower, and their whole team was here. They killed the tower, and with another Jinx, once again, she can get the speed boost. So had they all decided to all in her there, she probably might have died. But either way, they didn't go for it, so she was safe. But once again, remember that Jinx gets the speed from turrets as well. So he's back alive. He did end up getting the Ghost Blade, and now it looks like he's getting a Last Whisper. They have a little bit of armor. Lee Sin still has no boots. This guy is just like, I don't even know what I don't know. I don't even know what to say anymore. But basically, he's gonna have pretty much true damage once he gets the Last Whisper on everyone, because the Ghost Blade has really high flat armor pen. 20 armor pen is insanely high, and if you combo that with the 35% that you get from Last Whisper, the percentage goes off first, so they lose 35% of their armor. So like, for example, if you look at Lee Sin, he has, oh wait, he's got the most. Let's look at someone with a little armor. 65, if you take off 35% of that, you're left with about between 30 and 40 armor. And then you take off a flat 20, I mean that leaves them with between 10 and 20 armor, which, as if you're going against the Yi, who has a huge attack speed steroid and Blade of the Rune King, I mean, you're just going to be destroying people, so I don't disagree with that build, even though they have no armor pen. I think probably would have been better off not going Ghostblade, going Static Shiv and Infinity Edge. If they had armor, I'd say your build is perfect, but without armor, I think Static Shiv Infinity Edge is going to give you maximum DPS. And Lux gets caught again. She's 2 and 5, no surprise. We knew she would feed from the summoner spells. Pretty obvious there, so just do what you can to carry her. Brand stole the red from Lee. He's like, you suck, dude. I'm taking that. Brand actually got a Rod of Ages, which I don't like on Brand. It doesn't suit his playstyle. He's a very bursty champ, and Rylai's gives him enough health. I think Athene's, because it gives you cooldown reduction, and then into Rylai's and Liandry's. And that multiplies your burn, gives you 2 burns, and cooldown reduction, more mana. The way he's playing it is like he's got some kind of armor magic resist buff, because he has no resistances. He's just got a lot of health, and with no armor magic resist, he's just going to get shredded by Yi. It just doesn't make sense. And he's not going to be doing as much damage either, so suboptimal build for this game. Maybe it works in some games, but I think he's just going to get insta-killed by Yi. Zach split pushing, so they need to just group up and make something happen somewhere on the map. Their ward coverage is okay. No, they only have 1 ward here, actually. Their ward coverage in their opponent's jungle is pretty awful. It should be better than this because they're ahead 6k. If they had this warded, they wouldn't be getting caught out here. But Yi might be able to clean this up, or he might just die. Yeah, I think he might just die. Nope, it's Yi. Yep, it's Yi. So this is that fed Yi. Quadra kill. Well played. If he wasn't nearly as fed, he would have died easily. But he was able to just melt and then go invulnerable. He also got lucky with the RNG bounces on Brand's ult that it didn't focus him. Otherwise, he would have died. But it worked out for him, and he picked up a Quadra, and I don't think they'll be able to end here. Yeah, that would be a big mistake to continue pushing and probably end up in a throw like we saw in the first game that I was coaching. This really good play to call for the bot tower. There's already a minion wave here. So like anytime you get a big objective and there's like nothing else to push, like Inhib, prime example, and you don't want to go push on their towers, look at your other waves and be like, okay, we can just rotate down here. We still got 10 seconds on their death timers. There's no dragon. Just take it. So they take it and back out. That's perfect play. Good map knowledge by their team and good decision making. They can also steal the blue because their tower is right next to blue. So that was optimal play, perfect in every single way, and I don't have anything else to say about that. Shyvana, unless they get caught here, which they shouldn't. Shyvana, while that was all going on, was like, oh, nice, Quadra kill, I'll just continue to push top. Good decision from her as well. Yi doesn't want to overstay his welcome. This could be... He's fed. I mean, it might work out. Yeah, he's really fed. No, okay, so he dies. Him dying is not worth 1 kill on Brand at all. He tried to go superhero man mode there, and it almost worked because he's just that huge, honestly. But that was risky. Like when Jinx dropped the traps there, you need to not get caught in the traps. He walked into the trap and then made it an easy stun for Brand. At that point, if Jinx drops the traps, I would have just turned on to Brand, insta-killed him, and he would have been still really healthy. Because he stepped on the trap, got stunned before he even went on Brand. He could have killed Brand almost instantly, and then turned to Jinx, or ran, either way, because he gets more ult time and more speed if he kills the target or gets an assist. So, a little bit of suboptimal play there, but he's still absolutely huge on Yi. He got, I think he just picked up a Last Whisper and an Infinity Edge and one back. I'm not entirely sure. Like, I know he had the pieces of a Last Whisper, but I think he had enough gold for an entire Infinity Edge there. And this is the Yi build where you're just like, surrender now. He doesn't have that much crit chance. He's got 40%. But that's enough when you're attacking really, really fast. And if he pops Ghostblade and ult, it probably actually gives him above max attack speed. I think ult might give him full attack speed here. But they have the inhib down, so now you can see they have pretty solid ward coverage now. They're doing a little better around the map, but just like I was talking about earlier, these wards right here, really good. They have an 11k gold advantage. they could get all these warded and then start the Baron. Instead, they're doing it without wards. This is not what you want to do. Yi is so freaking strong, though, and so OP that they don't even realize what's going on, and it's already gone. So it works out in that situation, but if you're not that fed, you can't pull that off. I think this may be game right here. Yi doesn't have ulti because he used it on Baron, which was probably the right call, but he's not going to be able to clean up nearly as well. But Jinx overstays her welcome. So does Brand. This should be game. I don't see how that wouldn't be game. They have so much time. They have Baron, and they have a minion wave. So, yeah, definitely don't chase Zac. There's no point. They're like, RIP Shyvana, you tried. Go for the towers, end the game. Yep, and why does it keep minimizing? Yi, so strong. Pops his Ghost Blade. GG. So that Baron won them the game. They didn't have the full ward coverage, but apparently they didn't need it. The other team came in too late and then ended up getting caught in the Leona ulti, and then they were able to chase them down and pick up a bunch of free kills. So, I mean, that was a really, like, perfect Yi game. That's how you want to play him for the most part. A few over-aggressive plays, but sometimes that's just what happens on Yi, and got pretty lucky with their enemy jungler just being, I don't even know. Like, look at this build at the end of the game. That was, I don't want to be too mean, but that was just a free win. But oh, that was a normal game. Oh, that's a shame. I want you guys to mostly do rank games for this coaching because I think it'll make you better and it'll be more worth. But that was there's a good amount of stuff to be